Hello world, my name is Asani Saidi and we're going to go through Easy Payroll. So this is going to be a comprehensive training for Easy Payroll, from setting up your account, setting up your payroll, and eventually running your payroll. Easy Payroll is the first and only online payroll that allows you to run your payroll fully online. You just need an internet connection and it's free to use. It is a free trial essentially. So to sign up on Easy Payroll, please head over to easypayroll.cloud. Once there, you can click on the sign up button on top here, or you can scroll down and choose the package that you want. So we'll start with the free trial here, right? So I'll click on start free trial. So once I do that, it will prompt me to sign up. So I can put my email here. I can put my email address here. So I'll just copy my email address and I can put my email address here. I'll put my company's name. We'll say Testing Payroll. That will be the name of our company, right? And we'll also put a company address, right? And a phone number. We'll put a company email again, the same email. I can go over and choose my country, Zimbabwe. I can go on and create a very strong password. Yeah, right. Please follow. Make sure that you read the requirements of the password. This must be a very secure password. Once I do that, I can click on the terms and conditions. You can head to the terms and conditions page to read the terms and conditions, and I'll register as an employer. So with that, it will give you a notification that sign up successful. Please confirm your email to activate your employer account. So I'll go back to my email here. I'll just check my email. So there's my email. I'll click on it, and then I'll just click on this link to activate my my um, my account essentially. So once that has been done, so I have activated my account and I can proceed to sign in. So I'll put my email address and I'll put my um, my secure password here, and then I'll sign into my account. So this is the account for Easy Payroll. Right, so this is the dashboard that you see. You see obviously the name of your company here, any active employees that you have, any payroll configs, and any information will go here. So Easy Payroll is a sub menu. It's a very self-explanatory sub menu to manage your company, to manage your payroll, to manage your reports, for your billing, and for any support that you might require. So we'll start by actually just checking at our company information if it's correct. So I can check, I can go on under companies and click on companies. Here, I can look at the name of my company, the phone number. I can set things like maybe we have our own email server that we use and we want to configure that so that we send it using our own domain. Maybe we have an email like, for example, testingpayroll.co.zw. We could use that instead of the default Easy Payroll email settings. I can choose a logo also. So I can come here. I can click choose logo and I can pick my logo right here and it will upload that logo in the system. So I'll just save this. We are quite done here. We have set all our company information. I have also the option to change things like my password by clicking on account. So I can change my name, my surname. So I'll just say Asani and then my last name Saidi here. So I can save my profile so that it knows that I'm logged in as Asani Saidi. I even have the option to change the view of the system. So there's dark mode and there's light mode. So I can change it by clicking the icon next to account, right? For the rest of this tutorial, I'm going to be using the dark mode. I can even log out by clicking on this button on the right. Right. So once that has been done, I have set my companies. The next part is to set my payroll configurations. So Under payroll, I click on pay run configuration. So this is where you set your payroll. How are you going to compute your payroll? How many days, how many working days do you have? Things like those. So to do that, I can click on my payroll configurations and click on new configuration. Once I've clicked on new configuration, I can name this configuration. I'll say my super awesome payroll, right? And then I can choose a structure. So we offer different structures for different countries. You see that for now, since the system is in beta test, we only have the Zimbabwe payroll, but we are going to have the Zambia payroll, the South African payroll, and any other payrolls that come. So the system is constantly updated. You see this as it comes, and will notify you through the proper channels. So once I click on, so I'll click on the Zimbabwe payroll, right? Once I've clicked on the Zimbabwean payroll, I have the option also to choose the default salary structure. So regular pay will be fine for us. That will be okay for us. So a payroll structure is essentially what country are you affiliated with, right? So, for example, this is the Zimbabwe payroll. This is the structure for Zimbabwe, and it allows you to run even with the dual currency, and it allows you to run your payroll monthly. You can, of course, change this as you see, but this is just the default structure that comes from the team at Easy Payroll. Then the salary structure. Also, there may be different salary structures like regular pay, maybe there's a bonus pay, maybe there's a out of work pay. So there can be many different salary structures within that country essentially. So you can choose a salary structure here on the bottom. So once we have done this, we some configurations are made for us by default since we have chosen the Zimbabwe payroll structure. Like for example, it's by default it is activated multi-currency mode. By default, it has also chose the primary currency to be US dollar and the secondary currency to be Zimbabwean dollar. It has also chose that we're going to run our payroll in days, and we are going to run it every month. But you can choose this on the frequency. So maybe if you're running weekly, you can choose weekly. If you're running daily, you can choose daily. And the run unit, you can just change to say, okay, am I going to be running my payroll in days or is it going to be in hours? You have the option also to change the working days per run to say, okay, per each run, how many days does a person work? For example, for each month, how many days, or for if it's weekly, how many weeks, right? You have also the option to put the hours, right? So I'll leave the default configuration for now, but you have the option to change it to fit your company's needs. Once I looked at all of this and I'm done and it looks awesome, I can save the configuration. Notice that also this is going to be my default configuration. So when I say default, it says for this particular company, for our testing payroll company, this is going to be the default configuration that's going to be used when we run our payroll. We also have to choose a default workday type, right? So which usually is work, to say, okay, what actually type of work gives an employee money in the system. So this is most definitely going to be 100% of the time work. So you just have to select work for this one. So once that has been done, we are done with our payroll configuration, and I can say save configuration. Right. Once the configuration is done, we can get a summary of the configuration. It's my super awesome payroll. It's the payroll structure is Zimbabwe payroll, dual currency. The default work type is work. The frequency is monthly. The currencies are used in ZWG, and it's going to be multi-currency. I have the option to edit it at any time. I can click on the edit button here, on the edit icon, and then I can edit anything that I want to edit. Right. So I'll go back to configurations here. Right. So once you've done this is the first step. You configure this once essentially. Then the second step is to go back to companies and put your employees into the system. Right. So you have the option also to do this using an Excel template. So you can download the template and just view in your employees, or you can do it manually. So I'm going to put one employee manually here, and I'm going to call this employee Kakudzwa, and the last name is going to be Swanda, and I'm gonna put their email as I'm going to put it as email. I'm going to put it as another email. So let me quickly just get another email here. Just quickly get another email address. We are going to use another email for this person. So we're going to use this email, the super awesome email here. And we're going to put a random phone number here and an address. The job title is going to be manager. The manager, and we can also put their date of birth. We can put something like 0101 19 85, for example, and we could put their date that we hired them maybe in the 1st of January 2026. Their status is active. They're going to be an active employee. We can put things like their NASA number, their SSR number, their SSN number, their national ID number, and their WEX number. So we can put all of that information, or we can leave it blank if it's not there. We have the option also to put leave days here on leave days. So, for example, if they take a particular week, if they are leave days that we need to configure for them, we could actually say maybe this person is an annual leave day that we need to accumulate by 2.5 every month, so monthly, right? We need to accumulate by 2.5 every month, and the current leave days that they have is 0, for example, and then we can leave it like this, right? I can save this employee. So once I save this employee, I have this employee in the system. I can now edit their compensation. So you can see it tells you employee created and starter compensation added successfully. So you can, so a compensation is essentially how much you're going to pay them and for what period are you going to pay them. So it contains things like the primary wage, the secondary wage. It also contains things like the work days, the actual days that they work to get that salary. It also gives you all the things that can be computed. Like, for example, do you want to compute overtime for them? Do you want to compute annual bonuses for them? So if you don't want to compute something like annual bonuses, for example, you can just click the off button. For example, we'll click the off button for school fees benefit. We don't want to calculate this. We don't have this. Maybe you don't have ZimDef. You can deactivate it also. So you have the choice to deactivate anything that this particular employee is not going to use. You also have the choice to essentially put work with the days that they worked. Maybe, for example, they were absent for a particular day, so you can put the period when they were absent, things like those. You can, of course, do things like overtime. Also, say no, I want to pay this person overtime. They did overtime for from this period to this period, and then you can also put the rate, something like maybe it was overtime at 1.5, or it was overtime at 2, right? So you have the leeway to put the rate here when it's overtime. This one will be fine for us. We'll say we'll be generous for this manager. We'll pay him $650 in USD, and then maybe just over 1,000 in ZWG, right? And we'll say they started work maybe way back in October 2025. So I'll just save this compensation, and our employee is, yeah, we're done. So essentially, if I go back to my employees, I can see that our employees are set and they are active. I have the option also to download a template. So I can download the template from the system. So I'll just download this template and I'll open it. Once we open this template, this employees template, we are able to fill information like, okay, what's their first name, what's their last name, what's their email, what's their phone number, things like those, right? And we could, I'll just upload this one for John Doe, for example, the one that we just downloaded here. I'll just import that one. So I'll say import employees, and I'll import the one that we just received right now. the one with John Doe. So I'll just import the template and upload and validate it. And once that is done, you can see that John Doe is now available in the system and they are also active. So I can also go on to compensations. So I can also see all the compensations that are available. So again, compensations, they're just you can think of them like as contracts. They just mention the amount of money that we're going to pay that particular employee for a specific period. So each employee can have multiple compensations per different periods. That's very plausible to do in the system. So you can see that John Doe's a compensation has already been created for John Doe. I can even take this and export it as Excel. So I can just export this compensation as Excel. Maybe I have 30, 20 of competitions I need, and I just need to edit their primary or secondary salary at once, or I want to manipulate information for them at once. So right in my Excel here, I can then go on and change their primary wage. I'll say for John Doe, we're going to pay him $400, and for the secondary wage, which is going to be USD, which is going to be ZWG, is going to be something around 850. Right? I can even go to the salary rules here, so you can see that it mentions all the rules that are going to be acting for this particular employee. I can say, you know what, we are not going to be computing school fees benefit for this employee. So I'll just remove fees benefit here and on that column, and I'll save this, and I will go on and import this compensation template. And notice that because John Doe already exists in the system and there's an ID for John Doe, it won't create a new John Doe compensation. It'll just update the available one. So I'll choose this and I'll select the one that we just downloaded and edited earlier, the compensation one. I'll import it and I'll upload and validate this, and that will, as you can see, to change the primary and secondary salaries as expected. And if we go inside, we can also check if it has removed school fees benefit, because we don't want to calculate that for this particular employee. So that's that. So single setup, you set up your a pay run config, you set up your employees and your compensations, and you're ready to go. So the other thing is you have the option to set custom. As you can see, if we go on one of the employees here, we can see that the um, regular pay salary structure from the Easy Payroll team involves things like basic salary, annual bonus, NASA, payee, ZimDev, things of that nature. But you might have some other maybe allowances or deductions that you want to add here for the particular employee. That is perfectly fine. You can go under company and go under computations. So computations are essentially allowances or deductions that you can put for the entire everyone in the organization or for entire employee. So for example, for all our employees, we are going to give them transport money, right? So they can go to and from work, and we're going to say this is an allowance, right? So you can choose what category does it fall under. This is going to be an allowance, and I can select an employee that it affects, or I can leave it blank. As you can see, it tells me leave blank to apply this computation to all employees. So I'll leave it blank because transport is going, I want to give it to both John Doe and to all my employees essentially. And I'll say this is valid from today, from it was valid from last month, and it will remain valid till, let's say, the end of 2026. So I will say the amount is going to be $100, and the currency I'm going to pay them in US dollar. In the primary currency, I'm going to pay this allowance as US dollars, and I'm going to save this compensation. So transport allowance will now be available for every employee here. I'm going to put another allowance here, and I'm going to call it managerial, or maybe I'll just say something like managerial benefit, something like this, right? So this is going to be another this is going to be money that's going to be given only to to managers. So I'm going to select Sivanda, because Sivanda is the manager. So we're going to give him a little bit of something. And we're going to say this is going to be effective from uh, the 1st of January up to the end of December. Again, that's going to be effective from this period. We are going to pay him in USD also, right? And the amount we're going to pay him is just $50 benefit here, right? I'm going to save this computation also, right? So this is another allowance. So this allowance affects one employee, as you can see, it tells you here, and this one affects all employees, right? So now that we have our computation set, our compensations and employees set, we have also the option to set some other things. For example, let's say that we have a different uh, uh, we have different rates. Like for example, in calculating ZimDev, you might have or NEC, you might have different rates, and you want to configure those. You have the option to do that under Payroll. You can go to where it says Custom Rule Parameters. So the team offers some rates by default. Like for example, the age limit for NASA it's 65 years. Things like those are already configured by the team, and they'll constantly update it when it updates, and it will just work essentially. But there are some rules that you need to tweak yourself. For example, since we are we are going to be operating in a dual currency situation, we need to set a rate, for example, to tell the system how it's going to, when computations like pay, for example, when you're in a dual currency situation, they are going to compute payee using the USD text table. So you need to tell it how it's going to convert those USD values into actual ZWG or local currency values. So we can do that by just clicking new override. And once I do that, I can select the rule and say, I'm going to be doing an exchange rate. And I'm saying this is going to be effective from the it was effective from the 1st of January, and I'm going to say it's about 40 40. So 40 $1 is equal to 40 ZWG, right? 40 bond, if you want to call it that. So I'll save this one, this override. So this is our exchange rate for this particular company. This can change for any given company. They could have their own rate that they want to use. So we are going to be using 40, is going to be fine, right? Now, so once that is done, we have gone on, we have created our pay run config, essentially telling the system how it's supposed to calculate payroll and what country rules, statutory rules are we following. And then we went on to configure information about our employees, their compensations, how much are we giving them, and some computations, allowances, and deductions here and there. And then we went on also to just make sure that everything ties up with our particular organization, like the rate for NEC is ours, or the rate of ZimDev is ours, or the particular exchange rate aligns with our business. We can now go on to actually run the payslip. So running the payslip is very simple. We go under payroll and we click on pay runs. So a pay run is essentially a payroll, right, for a certain period. That's what essentially it is. So I'm going to click on new pay run, and then I can then go on and select what period. So by default, since I'm running, since I configured my payroll to say it runs monthly, but by default it will pick from the 1st of April up to the end of April, which is fine to me. I can rename this to anything I want. I'll leave it just like that, testing payroll, the name of the company, April 2026 will be fine. Or we can even make it shorter and just say April 2026. You name this whatever you want. We can select the date when we are going to actually pay the employees here, right? So I could even say, we are going to pay them on the 30th. That's fine, or maybe the next month. It's okay. You can select when you're going to pay them, and then you can select the employees that are going to subscribe to this particular payroll, which I want to run the payroll for. So I only have two. So I'm going to select both of those employees, Savanda, the manager, and John Doe. So once we've done that, we can say save pay run. So once we have saved our pay run, this pay run comes in wrapped, so you can see its name, the config it is using, what period is it valid from, and you can see that there are buttons here. One is to run the payroll and one is to edit the payroll. So I can click on this button here to just run the payroll right away, or I can open inside the payroll and then I can see this button, run payroll. So I can click on run payroll and the payroll will run. And it only takes a few seconds. The payroll will be complete and I can see how many payslips have been generated. I can even say view payslips here. So if I click on the view payslips button, I can see all the payslips that have been created. So suppose I have made a mistake and I want to actually rerun this pay run. I can also have the option to recompute pay run. So maybe I made a mistake. I put transport allowance for an employee that shouldn't have transport allowance. We can edit that, and then once we have edited that under the computations, we can come and recompute the pay run, and we just pick the new values if they are valid for that particular period, of course. And once that has been done, I can go and view my payslips. So once I view my payslips, I can see that I have payslips for John Doe and for Takudzwa Sivanda. So there are a little bit of things I can do with these payslips. The first thing is I can print the payslip, so I can select the payslips I want and print them in one batch at one flow swoop. I can even tick all of them or tick the ones I want, and I can even send the payslips via email. I can do that also, or I can mark these as paid. Right. So when I mark this as paid, it means I've sent them, I validated that their calculations are correct, everything is fine, and I want to log them in the system. I don't want anyone to be able to mess the system up. And this process is irreversible. So if I click on log payslip, it will give me a warning, as you can see, mark payslip as paid. This will apply leave accrual for the employee and log this payslip from recomputation. So what this means is when you mark as paid, that's where things like accumulating leave days happen. Some automated actions that need to be done after a payroll is run are also done. So mark as paid is the last step that you should take once the payslip is done. But for now, we can go into the payslip. So I'll just click on the eye icon here to just actually see the payslip. So I can see the payslip and I can see things like, okay, how did it calculate the primary currency summary, the secondary currency summary? Okay, what were my deductions? What is my net pay? What is my gross? What are my allowances? I have the option also to see for each computation what actually is happening. So I can see that, okay, basic salary USD is $400. There's also basic salary ZWG, which is 850. I see a breakdown of everything here up to where I get the net pay here. I can even print this, so I'll just show you a preview of this. So I can click on this button, print and preview, and it will show me the payslip here with the information for the employee, the period, and of course the allowances, the deductions, any company contributions that are there, any credits, any benefits that are there, the gross and the net for the both for the two currencies. I can then print it on my actual printer or save it as a PDF. So I can use my printer or PDF or whatever, however I want to print it. The most easiest option is to, of course, just email the payslip. So it will email this to the actual email address that you set for this particular employee. So in this case, for John Doe, the email that we set for John Doe is the email that will email the payslip to. So we'll see that in action here. I'll email this to Takudzwa Sivanda. So I'll just email this to Takudzwa's email. So it will take a second and it will tell me that payslip email has been sent to this address. So you can see if I go back to the payslips, you can see that it tells me here that the email that it has been sent, the status now changed from generated to emailed. And if I go inside, I can even see also, it will tell me that the latest email job, what email is it delivered to, and when was it sent. So we can even check this if we go to our email client here, we can check this, and you can see that if I open this email, you can see that this is the email, right? So it says, Takudzwa Sivanda, hello Takudzwa, please find your payslip attached, kind regards, testing payroll, the company name, and of course it will come with the attachment. So for the payslip, so I can download this payslip essentially. So that's very possible in the system, right? So I'll just go back to my email here. So that's it. So that's how you run your payroll. You have the option to actually, if there are mistakes in the payroll, maybe you've looked at a mistake, maybe we didn't want to put transport allowance for Takudzwa here for this period, right? Or maybe Takudzwa had some overtime that we forgot to add here. So we can actually edit that, and once we do, we can also click the recompute payslip. So this will just recompute this payslip so that it picks the new information that you have added. Great. So that's how you run your payroll. It's as simple as that. So we have run our payroll. Everything is fine. Everything looks great. We can even then go on and print our reports, things like the P2 form, for example. I can just select the period for the P2 form, and I can just print it out, right? So you can get your P2 form here. You can even have the option to get Excel reports from the system. You get Excel reports. You can get an Excel report like the payroll summary, for example. You can print this out and get this report. So, of course, by the time the system is rolled out, you have many reports here to work with. But these are just for example reports that you can use that are already configured when the system comes, right? And if you are having any issues, maybe you're having issues with the system, something that you don't understand, there are bugs that you're facing, hit us on support. So you can click on support, and on support you can click on contact us. You can get things. You can contact us. You can maybe you want to change your package from one package to another. If you go on billing, you see that this this is on the free trial, and it gives you 2 pay runs, and of course it gives you 2 months free. So once you want to change your package, you are able to request a billing change here. You can select a billing change. You can go to the monthly, which is $4 per employee, or you can go through the quarterly, which is $11.60 per employee per quarter, and then yearly, which is $42 per employee per year. So you can choose which one you want. Or you can contact us directly by just clicking on the contact us page, or here on the contact us. If you have any issues, any bugs, or any related queries, you can submit a ticket to us. You can create a ticket. For example, I can go on and say, where the thing happened. Did it happen on pay run? When generating a payslip, did it happen in the employee company? Where exactly did the issue occur? You can select where the error is occurring, and if it's a report, maybe it's a report that is an error on your end. Is it the Zimbra P2 form? What is it? The payslip? What is a report? Maybe we'll just go and say the payslip, and I'll say this looks too nice. There's not there's not an issue, but just to show you an example. You have the example, of course, to upload a screenshot or upload an actual video to actually show us what's going on, and you can submit this ticket, right? So to submit that ticket to the Easy Payroll team, and the Easy Payroll team, you can just check on the stage of that ticket. Is it submitted? Is it now in progress? And we'll call you directly, and we'll try to solve the issue, or we'll call you if we need any additional information. That's been it from me. Thank you for joining us, and let's meet on the next one.